today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this two-piece. It's a request from someone on Instagram. So guys, the first thing you're going to do, we're going to start with the shorts because the boxy crop top is very easy to make. So let's start with the shorts. So guys, this is what I'm using. This is my pattern. So the first thing I did is to mark out 3 inches width here and drew a line. So I marked 3 inches here. If you're more on the smaller size, you can do 2.5, and then for the back you can do about 3.5 for the back. So this is like an extra large hip of 48, right? So I did 4 inches for the back, 3 inches for the front. So this part here, so I drew the line of 4 inches space here. This is going to be able to mark our crotch. So this part with the 3 inches is going to be the front of my shirt, and then this part with the 4 inches is going to be the back of my shirt, right? 4 inches, 3 inches space, just like this, and then drew down a line. So guys, after that, from this point here where the two of them meet each other, I'm going to divide my waist measurement by 3, and then I'm going to insert it here all the way to the end. But guys, if you want, you can. If you don't want to use, if you're going to make your own elastic at the waist, then you can just use your hip measurement for this part. But mine, I'm going to be using my waist measurement because I want to put a zip at the back and I want to have a side pocket. So I'm going to be using my waist measurement for this because it's going to be with zip. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to go back in and mark about. So guys, what I'm working with is waist of 34. I divided it by 3 and I got about 11.3 something, so I just approximated it 11.5, and then I placed my tape at this point and insert that all the way through. So 11.5 all the way. If you're looking here, you'll see it's at 11.5, and then I connected it. After that, you're going to measure just to make sure that this here, whatever you have here, is equivalent of half of your waistline, or half of your waist plus at least 1 inch. So that's what I have here. So now I can go ahead and find out halfway through this line. So find out what I have. So my waist is 34 and what I have here is 18. 18 times 2 is going to be about 36, right? So half of this is going to be at I'm going to find half of this 18. So half of the 18 is going to be at 9, which is somewhere here. I'm going to mark it. So this is going to be the center of my pants, 9, somewhere here. So here is going towards the front, here is going towards the back. I'm also going to try to extend this 11 inches a little, 11.5 a little bit for outside the crotch, because this is where my crotch and my zipper is going to fit in. Because remember, like I said, mine is going to have zipper at the back. So for the front, I'm also going to just extend it a little bit here. So because you need your seam allowance here in front. So guys, after that, the next thing you're going to do is to add in your crotch measurement. Remember how we calculate it? Normally is like your crotch length. So what I normally do is my hip measurement divided by 4. So my hip measurement is 48, divided by 4 is going to be about 12 inches. So that's going to be my crotch. So I'm going to mark that here, and then I'm going to extend the line towards this end. So this is my crotch, and then I'm going to also do the same thing for the back. Mark that 12 inches for the back also. So guys, now after that, I'm going to insert the length I want for my pants. So it depends on you, whatever length you decide to work with. So let's say I decide to make mine about, so let's say I decide to work with about 16.5. That's including my seam allowance, because guys, remember, I'm still going to add 2 inches of band here. So that's why I don't want to make it too high. So I still add 2 inches of band. So I'm going to work with 16.5 here. So in total, when I add in my band and then fold the edge of this here, I might still end up with the same 16.5. So I'm going to take my tape and place it here and just insert 16.5 all over. So guys, whatever you decide, like I said, mine is 16.5 for this bottom part, and then I use 11.5 for the waist, right? So the two of them add together, 11.5 plus 28.5, 16.5. That's how I got 28. So that in case you get confused using your tape from this point to insert the measurement of the length, you can always just add the length here, add whatever you have here so that you can use this point. It's better to use this point, that way you can be able to get a perfect curve than using this point, because sometimes you might be here and your tape is facing towards this side, your measurement will not be correct. So if this part here is confusing you to place your tape here, or it's harder to place your tape here, just put your tape at this point. Just whatever length you decide to use from this distance to this distance, add it to whatever you have here, right? And then put your tape at this point, so that way you can get a perfect curve. So guys, now that we've marked it, you see this is our back, this is our front, like we said before. What I'm going to do is, remember, we marked a point here to know where the front and the back starts, right? This center line here, half of this waist, which was 9 inches. The waist I have here is about 18, but remember, it's because you're going to be cutting this on a fold, and I'm still going to slash this place open so that I can be able to put in my pocket. So but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring down my waist in front by ½ an inch. You can use a curved ruler to blend it in from this point into this ½ an inch. And then my back waist, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to extend it, because my zip is going to come in here. You can have a zip by the side if you don't want to use pockets, right? You can decide to put a side zip if there's not going to be pocket on yours. But since I'm also going to be having a pocket to the side, I can also have zip there, and I don't want zip in front, I just want the zip at the back. So what I'm going to do is to extend the back by about 1.5 inches to the length of where my zip is going to be, right? So it depends on how long your zip is. So let's say my zip is about this length, and then I'm going to cut it short here. Let's say I'm using 8 inches zip, because remember 2 inches of this zip is still going to be inside of my band, right? Because like I said before, I'm using 2 inches band. So this is going to be my zipper fly, right? And then after that, I'm going to go up again this line here, because remember the back of your pant most times should be longer than the front, right? So I'm going to take this back up by about 2 inches. If you're more on the smaller side, 1.5 is okay, but I'm more on the bigger side, so I'm going to do 2 inches. And then using a curved ruler, you're going to blend it into this line, right? You're going to blend it in. So I'm going to blend mine. This is it here. I've connected that one about 2 inches at the back here, just for the waist of the pant to this point. And then from this same point, I connected it down to this 1 inch to lower the front waist. So guys, after this, I'm going to also insert my tape again, just to make sure that this thing can still fit my waist. If not, I'll try to alter this curve a little bit. You need to make sure that whatever you're marking will still fit your waist, right? So now this is my new line. This is the new line I'm working with, right? This one that I marked so thick, and then the one below it is the one I'm using for my waistline. This is no longer my waistline now, because I brought up my back up, and then the front here, this one is no longer my waistline because I took it down by ½ an inch. So now I'm going to measure this line and make sure that my waist can still fit into this line, because remember my waist is 34, and yes, it still works out perfect. So now I can cut it out. Guys, if you measure yours and it's not enough, try to know what to do about it, because and when you're measuring it, don't add in this 1 inch, because remember this is going to fold into my zip. So I think I made a mistake, so let me go back in again and measure mine and make sure that I'm not adding in this, because this is going to go into my zip, right? And make sure that I have what I need. Okay, perfect. Is at 30, is at 17.5, right? My curve is at 17.5, which my waist is supposed to be 34 inches. So I still have some, like I have a ½ an inch to work with. So now what I'm going to do is to cut this out. So guys, what I'm trying to say, if you measure yours and the curve is not enough, just try to curve, because you know the more you're coming up to this curve, the more you're reducing your measurements, right? So that's why you need to because of these 2 inches I came up by, I've already reduced the width of this here, because the more I'm bringing up this measurement here, the more my measurements are becoming smaller. So that's why I came up by 2 inches, and then I brought down this curve into this line, and then the one in front. But if you measure yours and then you see the one in front, I reduced it by ½ an inch. So that's why when you measure yours and it's not okay, try to give your curve, maybe make your curve a little deeper, but still maintain these 2 inches at the edge. Find a way to just blend it in, and just make sure that you can still maintain your measurement by the waist. So now I'm going to cut mine out here. So guys, you see how I cut this out? From here I cut out the waist, cut out this part, cut out the zip allowance, this is out, then cut out the front. So guys, you see I try to leave about just half an inch here, just so that I'll have some seam allowance here, and then also a little bit of room by the crotch here. And then you see my zipper. This zip is going to be tucked into the back trouser, into the short, sorry, when I sew it. So it's going to be part of the zip. But before that, let's fold this so that I can splash this open. So guys, when you go to fold it, remember there's 2 inches length longer at the back, so you can't use the back as what you're using to check if the length is equal, because remember you added 2 inches at this back here because of the butt at the back. You need more room to contain it, right? And then you took down this front by half an inch. So you see the curve here is equal here, and remember you extended the crotch at the back, so you can't really use that to measure it, but you can use the curve at the edge here. You see my curve here is equal at the end, but you can't use this part to decide. So now I'm going to slash this open now. So guys, another thing I would like to do, because if you look at her own, you will notice that her own is a little bit cut by the side. The one on the thumbnail is like she reduced the front panel a little in front. So what you can do is just like come up here by maybe about 1 inch or so on the side, like 1 inch, and then use your curve ruler like this to blend this into this line, right? Use your curve ruler to blend this into the line, just like that. So now guys, I'm going to cut this out and my pants is ready. All I have to do now is to go ahead and trace out this on my pattern. So guys, this is the front ×2, and then this is the back ×2. When I go to trace it, everything here I'm going to trace exactly the way it came, but you see this side, I'm going to add 1 inch to it because I never added any seam allowance when I was cutting this to be able to join the side, but now I really need to add it because I slid this thing open. If I didn't, some people, you can do it without having a side seam. That means your pant is just going to come as one piece like this, and then you make it as one short, sorry, I keep saying trouser. So you can just make it into one piece like this, trace out your pattern like this, trace out this one like this, and it's just one short, right? And then all you have to do is just to fold it, and you don't have any side seam. But since I want to insert a pocket into mine, I need to add now this side seam of 1 inch to be able to do that. I've cut this out. The only side with the seam allowance is the side, the 1 inch that I need to join the zip, right? So that's what you see here. You see the 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on this side from the two of them. So let me put it together. You see, this is where the two of them will meet. Sorry that this is facing this way, but you see there's 1 inch from the end of each of them here. So that's where I'm going to join the two on the side. So guys, now what we have to do is to go over and guys, you notice there's no dart on that short. The top we're also making, there's no dart on all the outfits you're making today. The boxy crop top doesn't have any dart. The skirt, the trouser, the shorts doesn't have that. So guys, to cut the top, it depends on what you want. You can use I've already made a video on how to cut a top, a crop top, a boxy crop top. So but I'm going to do it over again. So guys, basically you're going to cut out exactly like you're trying to cut a basic bodice, right? So we have the front panel, the back panel here, which is the extension by 1.5 inches. So now what I'm going to do is just to draw out my basic bodice. So guys, you see the shoulder to waist depends on you. You can do 1 inch below your waist. My waist is 17, but I want to do like half an inch below my waist. So I have about 19 inches here. That's 1.5 extra for my 1 inch of folding the edge and half an inch of joining the shoulder. So now let me go ahead and draw in my bodice here. So the width here is just my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and insert my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is going to be 8. My shoulder is 16 divided by 2, 8. Then come down 1 inch of shoulder slope, insert my normal armhole, which is 9, connect it this way, and then with a straight line I'm going to connect this line to this point here, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and give it a curve here. Then come up to this point, insert my neckline of 3 inches here, and then shoulder slope like this, and then I'm going to give it a curve. It depends on you, the neckline you want, but we're going to draw the back neckline first, which is 1 inch this way. And then guys, this is the width here. Now the width is my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch of seam allowance and half an inch of ease. If you want, don't add ease to yours if you don't want it fitted. If you want it loose, a little bit loose, not too loose, you can do half an inch. And then coming down to the waist, you can leave it open like this if you're going for extremely boxy one, or you can just remove 1 inch when you come down here. So just take away 1 inch from this waistline, and that's basically it for our top. So this is done now. I'm just going to cut this off. You can leave it straight the way it is, but I just want to narrow it a little. That's why I removed 1 inch from this part. Now I'm going to cut out my armhole to the top, my shoulder slope, neckline, and then you can now change your front neckline and bring it down a little. You can do like 3 inches down here for your front neckline. And then for your armhole, remember, since this is going to have a sleeve, you have to go in halfway through this 9 inches or whatever your sleeve armhole is, mark it and then go in by half an inch there, and then connect it with a straight line and then with a curve at the lower part. So you can cut this out now. But our back panel is done. I'm just going to split it open. So we have the back. Guys, like I said before, there is no darting here. All you have to do is join the front to the back, insert your sleeve, fold the end of your clothes, put in a zip. That's it. So now what I'm going to do for this one here is just to cut out my neckline. Guys, I really apologize for the noise. I don't know what to do about it, but someone is working on their house, so I can't change it. But I'm trying to speak louder than that. So I'm going to cut out my front neckline here. So this is it here. I'm also going to cut out the one from the armhole, and then I'm also going to go ahead and cut my sleeve. So guys, now to cut the sleeve, all I have here is my fabric folded into 2, and then you're going to add extra 1 inch, 1.5 inches to it. Then the width you're going to have here is your armhole divided by 2, so plus extra 1.5, come down by like 4 inches here, just like how we always cut our sleeve here. And then you're going to connect it with a straight line this way. Halfway through that, you're going to give it a curve above and then give it a curve below. That's basically our sleeve. Down here, you insert your sleeve width divided by 2 plus 1 inch here, and then connect it this way. So guys, I'm just going to go ahead, cut this out this way, cut it out, and then my sleeve is done. I'm coupling everything together. Join this short. So guys, like I said, you're going to cut 2 of the front, 2 of the back, and then the first thing you're going to do is the front, you're going to join it by the crotch, right? That's what I did here. So you see, this is my front joined by the crotch. You see, one side is here. Let me show you what it looks like. You see, one side is here, is joined this way into the crotch. I did the same thing for the back. The same thing, I cut 2 of it and joined the 2 sides of the back. You see, this is the back, and then once I finished it, I joined the crotch line. You see, I joined it. So this is the back here and this is the front here. Once I finished, I joined the 2 by the crotch in a straight line like this. And after that, I joined the side with that 1 inch I left to the side. I closed the side from the back to the front, but I left about 5 inches opening so that I can be able to insert a pocket here. You see what I did? I closed up to 1.5 coming down, skipped like 5 inches opening, closed up the rest using 1 inch of seam allowance, which is what I left before. You see, my seam went up, skipped some space, and then now all I have to do is just to take this pocket now. So this thing that I cut now that looks like a square this way is going to fit into my pocket. So all I have to do is just to take it this way, join 1 to each side. You see, my 2 side seam are open like this. I'll just take 1 this way, join it, sew it down to 1 side like this. Take the other one, this on the other side, sew it to 1 of the other side seam. So you see my other side seam. Once I do that, I'm going to close up the edge. You see, I'm just going to close up the edge this way, close up this part, and then I have my pocket. Then from inside here, once I put my hand will be inside of the pocket. So that's basically how I'm going to join this. And after that, the next thing to do is just to go ahead and attach your band. So you see my pants now. I'm going to go ahead and fold the edge, like you know how you fold with 1 inch. I'll still do that, but before that, I cut out the band I need. Guys, before you attach your band, make sure you measure your waist and it's exactly what you need. If it's not, you can taper it in more. If it's less, you can bring it out more. So After that, I cut out band of like 5 inches, because like I said, I want to use one of 2 inches for my band, right? So I'm going to tuck in half an inch on both sides. 5 inches of width folded into two. You have 2.5 on each side. That 0.5 will be folded inside, so that I can use it as just like to help fold off the rough edges. And then I'm going to insert this band inside of this here, like open it up this way, insert it in between, and then sew my band from one side of the pocket, the zipper, sorry, to the other end. And you see how I closed up the back? I came up to the zipper a little bit. You see, this is the zipper allowance. You see, remember how we cut this part? This is the zipper allowance, but I sewed all the way to like 1 inch into the zipper. You understand? So 1 inch into the zipper, because my zip is a short one. So you sew in up to this point, close it up to the crotch. You see how I close it up into the crotch? Yeah. So now after attaching my band, I'll go ahead and put in the zip at the back, sew up the end. So this is what the short is looking like right now. It just needs the pocket, and then it needs the band. So guys, moving back to the top, I finished the top. See the zip I'm using here, this short one. You see, if I put it here now at the back, you see how much it will go. Like I said, I'm going to skip about 1 inch here, or if my zip is not long enough, I can still close it up a little bit more. So guys, see my top. You see, like I said, all you have to do is just, this is a boxy top. You see, if you look closely, you'll see that it's angled a little because of that 1 inch I took in. But if I didn't take in that 1 inch, it will just go straight like this, just down like this. So that's what it depends on you, how, like, if you feel like you're more on the bustier side, and like the room that you already have at the bust is too big, and the difference between your waist and the bust, the difference is too much, then you need to remove that 1 inch. But if you're more on the smaller side, and your bust and your waist are almost the same, and the boxiness will not be too much, like if you use your bust measurement by the waist, because that's the whole point of this boxy top, is to use your bust measurement at the waist. There's no darting, there's no taking in. If you feel like yours is too much, then go ahead and take away that 1 inch. So that's what I did here. I removed 1 inch here because I'm working with bust of 42, waist of 34. So like the difference is a little bit more. So first you join the shoulder to shoulder, insert the sleeve, close up the side seam, and then the back here, you insert your zip. You see how my zip went? Try to make your zip long, because if you don't do that, you can't wear it. So make sure that the zip gets to the end, like maybe 1 inch before the end. But you see the zip goes all the way down, and then you close up the edge of your clothes. So this is what it looks like, guys. Like I said, there's no darting here. So now I'll finish up the top. I'll bring back the two of them so you guys can see what it looks like. My sleeve length is actually like 10 inches. It depends on you what you want. Whatever you decide to use as your sleeve, add 1.5 to it so you can fold the edge, use half an inch to join it to the shoulder. So guys, I'll finish up the pants and bring back everything.